In preparation for my upcoming wedding, I thought it would be fun to try on my mom's wedding dress from when she married my dad in 1994. This dress has only been worn once on that wedding day and then has been hanging in a closet ever since. Now it's time for me to try on this dress and see, will it fit? I don't know. I hope it does. I've seen pictures of this beautiful dress hanging around my house, well, ever since I've been alive, and now comes the moment of truth. My mom bought this dress off the rack in early 1994 after my father proposed, and she got it at a place called Bridal's by Lori, and that might sound familiar to some of you folks who like Say Yes to the Dress, because that is where Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta is filmed. But my mom did not buy it on the location where the TV show is filmed. In fact, she got it at one of their other stores that has since closed.
So it kind of fits. I'm a little bit taller than my mom, so it's a little bit short. But this is a fun thing. It was a T-length dress, but since she's petite, it really kind of it was on the floor, and then it like kind of dragged in the bit behind. So she had, instead of it being T, it was actually floor length with a little bit of a train, which is just a fun fact. So it, as you can see, it kind of fits. I can't really feel like I can put my arms down, but that's also just because these sleeves are huge. But you can see in the back here, it didn't exactly go, but it held together, and if I have my hair down, you can't tell. It's fine. So this is so cool. This is the first time I've ever trying it on. My mom's dress, which of course I've seen photos of all around our house for years, but I've never like gotten to try it on. So in anticipation for my own wedding, I think that this is a fun experiment to see if it fits. And now I'm gonna put on the veil to complete the look. It's kind of like a tiara, but not quite. And then I love there's these little like 3 pearls embroidered around on the veil. Little pearls. Oh, look at them. So it does have the ability for the veil to come over the face and do a blusher, but I don't, in all the pictures that I've seen, I have not seen one where my mom, even when she was walking down the aisle, had it over, which I can kind of see why. It's a
bug net.
It makes it be a little bit big. I think it's more elegant, and then you also get to see the pretty design up here on the headband part better if it's back.
In the early 1990s, bridal headbands that were very much endowed with lots of beadwork, especially pearls, were very popular. Illusion necklines were also on trend, but unlike today where the illusion neckline just kind of stops around the neck, this one has detailing around the neck, basically being a built-in necklace. This point on the bottom of the bodice really elongates the torso. And while no part of this dress is purely lace, I love all of the little lace detailing, especially this detail around the hem of the skirt. I think it's beautiful. Sleeves in the early 90s are a toned down, more elegant version of the 80s. So the 80s, everything was huge. And then in the early 90s, everything kind of calms down just a tad. I think it has a very Edwardian vibe. Also a little bit of a 1600s vibe as well, and I love it. I think it's a really classy time period. Now, I mentioned 80s wedding dresses, and it is impossible to talk about 80s wedding dresses without talking about Princess Diana's wedding gown. When Princess Diana married Prince Charles in 1981 in St. Paul's Cathedral, she wore this incredibly elaborate gown. It had a 25-foot train and 153 yards of tulle veil, and everything was just so exaggerated and so much larger than life. And of course, Diana, being the fashion trendsetter that she was, her wedding dress set a lot of trends for the 80s with very, very large leg of mutton sleeves and very large headpieces and just everything being very, well, big. In many ways, this dress defines the 80s, but it also defines a generation who is looking to this royal couple for wedding inspiration. It's one of the most well-known weddings of all time. Therefore, in the early 90s, we still see a lot of carryover from the 80s. We see large headpieces, headbands, tufts of tulle in the back of veils, kind of like a bubble veil, very popular. But we see a little bit more streamlined, elegant bodices. We see smaller sleeves, if there are sleeves. Off the shoulder sleeves were also very popular. And skirts were still very full. There was still some body to them, but we don't see them as poofy as they were in the 80s. But after this famous wedding dress worn by Carolyn Bessette on her marriage to John F. Kennedy Jr., all remaining vestiges of the 80s disappear, and the 90s iconic, very sleek, very simple, very much a slip dress of a wedding dress appears. Okay, now that we've established the fashion history timeline of my mom's wedding dress, now it's time to take some pictures. I'm going to try to recreate some of the bridal portraits that my mom had taken on her wedding day. Let's see how this works out. Thanks for coming along on my family history adventure. I had a lot of fun trying on my mom's wedding dress and kind of felt like a little kid playing dress up, but it was a lot of fun. So thanks again for coming along. Be sure to subscribe for more wedding content coming up as I prepare for my wedding. Until next time, bye.